Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a mix of fireworks and gunshots in Lexington led to 3 people being sent to the hospital yesterday. And one tiny change in a new bill can mean a new start for some.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, 5:34. Brandon Robinson along with you here on Mountain News this morning. We continue to see an active weather pattern here on this July 6th starting to starting to form. It's going to carry us to the next several days. Let's take a look at current conditions on I-75. This is southbound heading through Rockcastle County and Mount Vernon. Lots of fog out there this morning. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s area-wide. 62 Clintwood, 64 Wise and Hazard this morning. Those are our coolest spots. 70 Prestonsburg, Moorhead, and it was 71 on the other sensor there in Monticello a little earlier. But a lot of folks near 70 this morning. Pikeville at 69, London at 69, Jackson at 69. So again, a lot of folks out there kind of on the warmer side, and you can see there's the other sensor there with the 71-degree reading out in Monticello. Temperatures across the rest of the state and region: 69 across the river in Cincinnati, 71 in Knoxville, 74 in Clarksville, 77 Nashville, 73 in Paducah, 79 in Louisville. Almost 80 degrees up there already this morning, and we're heading for 88 once again today. But again, we're going to see the chances for scattered showers and storms starting to return as we head past lunchtime into the afternoon hours. Scattered is the key word to remember, but that's all thanks to a boundary that is setting up ahead of a cold front that will impact us tomorrow. All right, let's check your news headlines. The Harlan County community continues to mourn the death of Kentucky State Police Sergeant Jared Boggs. Boggs died on Monday after suffering from a brief illness. KSP Post 10 Captain Danny Cottle says the past couple of days have been challenging.
Sergeant Boggs' passing was very unexpected, happened very quickly. We're saddened by the loss. We've been really busy trying to prepare for his funeral and celebration of life, but it's been a really difficult time for us.
Boggs was an 18-year veteran of the post. Cottle says his impact will always be remembered. A shooting investigation is underway in Lexington. It happened as fireworks were still being shot on July 5th early in the morning. 3 people were hurt. Lexington police say they were called out just after midnight Wednesday for fireworks and possible shots fired. They found shell casings and property damage, including several trees shot out and bullet holes in a fence and the hood of a car. Around the same time, 2 adult men and 1 juvenile showed up at the hospital with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds.
Our street is pretty aged. A lot of my neighbors are a lot older, so it's once again contributed to it being quiet, but kind of things are starting to change over here, it seems like. So
Lexington police say they do not have any suspect information available at this time, and their investigation is ongoing. They're asking anyone with information to contact them or Bluegrass Crime Stoppers. Just across the river in West Virginia, police have released the name of the suspect killed in an officer-involved shooting on Monday. Huntington Police Chief Phil Watkins says Ahmed Abdullah from Detroit is the man who died in the shooting. The incident happened Monday afternoon on 14th Street. Chief Watkins said someone called 911 saying the suspect was threatening to shoot the caller and blow up a house. The chief says when the initial officer arrived, Abdullah refused to cooperate, threatened the officer saying he had a gun, and ran at that officer, which resulted in the shooting. Back here at home, lawmakers in Kentucky recently added one word to a bill potentially changing everything for folks looking to move beyond their backgrounds. Attorneys and people hoping to clear their backgrounds say expungement is important in building a future and moving past who they were when the low-level crime was committed. House Bill 369 addressed the ability for people to request an expungement for a Class D felony convictions. The new language extends that ability to cover more than one felony for an individual.
There's people out there, good people, that make a mistake. I mean, and like I said, no one's perfect. And this is great that this is getting passed, and I mean, it's going to be a game changer for a lot of people.
And you can find out more about the bill and what it means on our website, WYMT.com. A Montgomery County road that was closed due to this past weekend's severe weather has reopened. Ivy Point Hill Road was closed because of a major mudslide causing mud, water, and tree branches to block the path of the road. It reopened yesterday after crews worked for 2 days to clear that debris. Officials with AAA say more than 50 million people are traveling from the long holiday weekend. That's a new national record, but it hasn't come without a few bumps in the road. Samantha Valentino has the details from Bluegrass Airport.
We've seen widespread flight cancellations and delays this 4th of July week. Experts say unpredictable weather and a shortage of workers are to blame. But travelers here at Bluegrass Airport tell me they're grateful to be among the few traveling without issue.
So far, everything on the app is showing that it's going to be clear, smooth sailing to get there.
Galen Hardy is off to Savannah. He spends a lot of time in the air for work. Of all the airports he's been to, he says Lexington is one of the smoothest.
It's nothing like Houston. Every time I go through Houston, I get stuck there. I'd rather fly here than I would Fort Worth, Houston.
Meanwhile, a much less experienced flyer is traveling to Florida.
I'm a little nervous. I was up all night just thinking about how the flight was going to be like. So I never been on a flight before.
Luckily, this first-time flyer is doing so without any hiccups. Unfortunately, that's not the story for Imani Khalid.
Yeah, this is embarrassing.
After visiting his sister here in Lexington, Khalid was off for a vacation in Panama until he got to the airport.
My passport expires in August, and I didn't know that you need at least 3 months in addition before your end date on your passport.
While Panama is in the 3-month club, some countries require your passport be valid at least 6 months beyond the date of your trip. The State Department says they're currently processing passports in 10 to 14 weeks. If you're planning a trip out of the country, experts recommend applying for or renewing your passport at least 6 months before you plan to travel to avoid any possible delays. In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Officials estimate 43 million people traveled by car in the last several days for the holiday. Kentuckians made up 545,000 of that number. They are predicting a more than 2% jump, and Kentuckians continuing to opt to travel by car this holiday compared to last year. Coming up, one Taylor Swift superfan is trying to get her attention in a way you never thought of. Stay with us to find out how. And an approaching cold front could bring us some rain chances to start the weekend. I'll track out how much and when in about 3 minutes.